Mixtape was a legit Game of the Year contender. This is a graphic in Mixtape's Steam page. Damn, this thing's got more 10s than an average whatever podcast guest list. But bros, I think they might be right. Can you imagine? A world where Mixtape wins Game of the Year? No. Mixtape got a 6.2 user score on Metacritic, while Expedition 33, actual Game of the Year material, has 9.5. And it did win last year's award. Yet for some reason, IGN gave it a 9. So, what's going on here? I think we gotta analyze this. Let's compare Mixtape to 4 other Game of the Year games, either winners or nominees. Expedition 33, Persona 5, Elden Ring, and finally, Life is Strange. Minor spoilers for some of these. I'm making this so that people have something to refer to when Mixtape gets even nominated as Game of the Year. I will be critical as well as constructive. If Mixtape is truly worth a perfect 10 out of 10, then it goes to say there shouldn't be much that can be improved. But first, a word from our sponsor. Hi. Thanks for being here. Become a member? I'll include you in these names. Okay, thanks. I should also address the results of my Mixtape minimum presses challenge. Several people have mentioned I could have cleared the first skateboarding section with no button presses. So I replayed the game. Thanks a lot. Passing the first car required 6 rewinds, but this second pole required 19. I also passed this fence automatically, somehow. I also replayed the leap sweeping bit, and with just one try I went from 22 presses to 11. However, I failed to include 2 presses to put down the camera in the dino part. We don't have to do the same after the third picture, so the new total is 138. Now please. No more. Round 1. Mixtape versus Game of the Year 2025. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Believe it or not, this guy with the canvas, this is all we need to highlight something important. The lack of player impact in Mixtape. This painter needs some inspiration to paint. This is entirely optional. You can help him by practicing combat dodging in front of him. When you succeed, he gives you a useful item and says he will adorn the opera house with the painting. So for exploring your environment, you are rewarded with a challenge. The challenge has clear rules, and clearing it gives a reward. It also, in a very subtle way, changes the world. Because, spoiler ahead, 3, 2, 1. When you actually visit the opera house later on, the ceiling will be adorned with the painting, as you can see here. End of spoiler. Now let's compare this to, say, the secret handshake in Mixtape. We already know you don't have to press D's in sequence, so already there's 0 challenge and you can't fail. But maybe what the devs intended was something like, only you know the sequence. Okay, let's say that's true. It isn't communicated with this prompt, and it ultimately doesn't matter, because the characters won't do the handshake again. It's interactive just for the sake of being interactive, and a lot of the game is like that. Interactive just because. They allow intellectual investment, more on this later, but do not reward it. And here's my proposed solution. It's actually pretty simple. Rearrange the prompts so that it can't be read left to right, and have the characters do the handshake again later. This lack of player impact lends to the feeling of your inputs being hollow. Thus, players will be less invested in the outcome, and we'll elaborate more as we see other reasons why. Round 2. Mixtape versus 2017 Game of the Year nominee, Persona 5. You may have noticed that I didn't mention Expedition 33's combat at all, and that's because it'd be unfair. Mixtape is a very different genre, so I won't talk about Persona 5's combat and dungeon exploration either. Instead, let's look at a more suitable comparison. For those that don't know, Persona 5 is half JRPG and half dating sim. Half of the time, you'll just be talking to people. First, let's look at the dialogue sections. These are very much linear, like in this intro scene. You can even turn on auto mode. The text boxes will progress for you, letting you just sit back and watch. Like in Mixtape, right? Wrong, it's not the same. You will, and often, be prompted for a response. Your choice here ultimately does not matter. The scene will play out the same regardless of what you choose, but it still has effects on the player. Ever so slightly, it allows you to insert yourself into the conversation. Like, you can goof around and make jokes at every opportunity. It's kinda stupid, but also kinda fun. Life is Strange does the same thing, and however tiny it feels, it adds to player immersion, and that's what's lacking in Mixtape. The narrative immersion is weak, especially as a video game. Let's take this scene for example. Cass here asks Stacy some personal questions.
It's stupid.
It's not stupid. I'm just curious.
Would it not have been nice if you could pick Stacy's answer? The options can be derivative of each other. They do this in Persona 5 too. But at the very least, let us be the character we're supposed to be controlling. Maybe we want a certain response or be a bit silly. But no, there's nothing here. Just sit back and watch your character gift Cass a lighter that was just stolen a moment ago. I'm supposed to be immersed in this? Making my friends an accomplice to a crime? That's another element of narrative immersion, relatable characters. And as far as this scene goes, it's horrible. You mean to tell me that a friend that accepts a stolen gift is the same friend that takes the fall for a prank? Oh, but she also lies to her friend when it suits her. The main character, oh, heavens above. You aren't supposed to like the hero of Mixtape. Yeah, I bet. I haven't even mentioned dialogue choices do matter in Persona 5, specifically when hanging out with confidants. The existence of guides specifically for that aspect of the game is a testament to this. It keeps you engaged in the conversation. Speaking of engagement, Round 3, Mixtape versus Game of the Year 2022 winner, Elden Ring. Ooh, how do we make a comparison here? These are two very different games, and making an objective comparison seems unfair. Oh, sorry, I was too invested in the game. Aha! Let's talk about player investment. I watched Sungrand's video talking about this. There's 3 kinds of player investment: intellectual, mechanical, and emotional. When you start up Elden Ring, you are 99.9% locked in. You are almost always thinking about what to do. When you're not in combat, you're still intellectually engaged. You're checking your surroundings and contemplating where to go. And when fighting an enemy, mechanically invested. You're thinking of your distance from the enemy, when to dodge, and when to attack. And don't you dare look away from a boss, or you are toast. Meanwhile, Mixtape requires such little intellectual and mechanical investment. Your controller can time out twice and still finish the last 30 minutes of the game. Did she just move an excavator arm with her head? Yeah, let's take this section. The improvement here is easy. There. Add a fail state for goodness sake. You can even add personality to it. Have Stacy go, "No, my soundtrack." Mixtape is heavily, almost exclusively reliant on emotional investment. And truth is, the soundtrack carries the moments hard. It's as if this game is propped up with a crutch, built in with a 2.5mm jack for your headphones. Remind me again, we aren't supposed to like the hero of Mixtape, and we're supposed to be emotionally invested? Yeah, right. Let's discuss the characters more in the final round. Mixtape versus Life is Strange, 2015 Best Narrative nominee. Major spoilers ahead. So this is the only game on my list that isn't actually Game of the Year material, but I have to include it. It was nominated for Best Narrative in a video game, and I also have 2 reasons for including it. First reason is the genre. Mixtape and Life is Strange are narrative heavy and has very similar vibes. The suburban setting, the music, the cringe dialogue.
Must protect my precious so Max never has to chase it down again.
But in terms of gameplay investment, Life is Strange is the clear winner. All because of the inclusion of time travel. Your main character can rewind time ever so slightly, and the player can use it to solve puzzles, and the game is clear on the rules surrounding your powers, but also, and this is my favorite, redo dialogue choices. You want to be both mean to the stereotypical preppy mean girl, but also be consoling to see her vulnerable side? You can do that. The game tells you when your actions have consequences, so even after you've made your choice, you're thinking. Now this is a video game. Mechanical investment is minimal since there's no action and you're not really pressing that many buttons, but you're often intellectually and emotionally invested. Mixtape seems to have missed that memo, that even simple dialogue trees can lead to more narrative immersion. Every activity you do, you'll tend to think, okay, that was neat, but what was the point of me doing anything? And the characters are also far inferior. Life is Strange has Chloe Price. She is the closest equivalent of Mixtape's Stacy and Cass. She's rebellious and speaks edgy dialogue the most. Her favorite word is hella.
You got hella cash. I'm hella ready. You hella saved my life. Hella yes! Hella stupid, usually.
Mixtape's favorite word is soundtrack.
Make a soundtrack. Soundtrack, huh? She makes the best soundtrack. It'll ruin my soundtrack. The entire soundtrack. My soundtrack is ruined.
Yeah, honestly, they both suck. Both of these characters keep making bad decisions. However, Life is Strange explains why Chloe's like that. Another spoiler ahead. 3, 2, 1. Her real father died of a car accident a few years ago. Thus, she lost a crucial role model while growing up. We actually get to interact with a non-rebellious Chloe in an alternative timeline.
It is hella cold out here. Hella? I hate that word, no offense.
End of spoiler. They have similar father figures as well. David Madsen is the equivalent of Cassandra's dad. He's a security guard in Max's school and he's very hard on safety. But as the story progresses, you find out that his intentions are actually good. It's just that his methods are misguided. Another spoiler. 3, 2, 1. And we get to experience how genuine he is when he risks his life to save us from a kidnapping. Go stepdad. End of spoiler. As for the dad in Mixtape, he's just all over the place. We don't even know his first name. He's just Officer Marino. Way to detach us from the antagonist. He's also a hard ass, but for no reason, just for its own sake. Then he quotes music all of a sudden, and at the end, when his daughter threatens to burn the town down, he capitulates and just lets her go. Daughter wants to go to a party? Hell nah. Daughter forebodes arson?
Well, I guess we have ourselves an understanding.
Then there's the narrative. Life is Strange has overarching mysteries you have to solve. The storm that Max saw at the beginning and the missing Rachel Amber. It leads to insane plot twists later on. In Mixtape, shiny object, flashback, repeat. Well, there is the central conflict between the characters, the road trip, and here's the summary.
I'm leaving tomorrow. You ruined our road trip. We'll talk about it later. Let's party!
Finally, let's also compare the cringe. There's plenty in both, but it's far worse in Mixtape. Our main character Max is very likable, a somewhat timid college girl that has a thing for photography. Her most cringe dialogue is when she nerds out, otherwise she talks normal. And at the very least, she's self-aware of her cringe.
If anybody else looked at this, what would they think?
As are other characters.
Your generation was not the first to use images for selfie expression. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Mixtape's cringe, I think, can all be felt in this pinboard. This is all the stuff they wrote on paper here. If you ask me, they are trying way too hard to be hip and clever. It's not relatable. You don't have to be this witty all the time. Like here, when we check this fridge.
Slater got stuck in this fridge for like 45 minutes. We thought he was gonna die. We set it on fire as revenge.
This is actually okay. Compare that to this boombox dialogue.
This boombox refuses to die. Through sun, rain, thrash, hail, free jazz. It should be studied by the US government.
Yeah, bit too much. The only fix for these writing issues is, well, better writing. If you've played Mixtape but haven't tried Life is Strange, and you like story-heavy games, I highly recommend trying it out. You will be refreshed by how much more agency and influence you have. In conclusion, Mixtape has numerous flaws in a lot of aspects. The only thing I can't critique are the graphics and soundtrack. They make the 3-hour, experience tolerable, if not worthwhile. If you like it, then that's good. I'm glad you had fun. However, 10 out of 10, Game of the Year? Really? I can think of only one scenario where Mixtape can even qualify. I think it's still too big. Oh, I never mentioned the second reason I included Life is Strange. This game is already 11 years old, and it's already beaten Mixtape in daily concurrent players. Now doesn't that just
Big suck.